Well, you might fall in love again, actually, with next year's Sark Folk Festival. This year it entertained hundreds of music fans over the weekend. And here is a very starry-eyed Tom Girard. He's a bit misty-eyed, I think, because he's sad it's all over. Tom, are you all right?
Yeah.
You look like, when you've had a really good time, you look like you're suffering from severe withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. It was on Sunday afternoon leaving the festival and sort of coming back on the boat and just going, I just want this to keep going. I think Sark Folk Festival should be a permanent thing and should just keep on going forever because it's amazing.
Well, I mean, it's just... I'm sorry, I'm speechless at the thought. My Auntie June and Uncle Alan went over. How cool is that? How cool is that? Why is it so, really concentrating the hearts of music lovers throughout the bailiwick and beyond?
Yeah, it's really hard to put it down. There's something about the island, which for one, I mean, when I arrived there on Thursday afternoon, it was like suddenly, I can relax. I didn't know I wasn't relaxed, but apparently I wasn't, because I'm now even more relaxed. And for the whole weekend it was like that. And then you've just got 3 days of great music. And it's called the Folk Festival, but it covers so much different sorts of music.
So there's something for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff going from really traditional folk right through to people doing kind of their own acoustic sort of stuff, which is all original material.
And the Guernsey thing of everyone leave it to the last minute, you know, it means that when you think about finally getting the time off and going, it's happened to me twice now, and I was insisting that I was going this year and I didn't manage to go. And if people leave it to the last minute, and then tickets are like gold dust. Do you think, we've read in the paper, we've heard on BBC Guernsey, they're going to keep it the same size, but do you think there's scope for it to be a bit bigger? Or no, he's protective about this.
I mean, going to it, it's like, that's as big as it could be, because the field this year was full, the field it happens in, and the island was full, and you can tell when you're over there that like everywhere is chocker. Like, I was staying in someone's spare room because the campsite was full by the time I got around to booking.
And my husband carried some people, because
you know.
he's a taxi driver, and he carried some people who'd gone over to Sark, didn't have tickets for the Sark Folk Festival, and still had a brilliant time on the island.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing with it. There is music all over the island. So there's the festival site, but also if you're just walking up the avenue, there's a little sort of area up there with some benches, and there'll be some people busking there. And outside a couple of the restaurants, there were people playing all weekend. And then in the middle of the vineyard, there was a little spot where there's no vines growing, where there's a bench, and there's just people playing there. And it's all sort of part of the festival thing, but it covers the whole island.
It sounds magical.
Yeah, it is.
Can I just read you this email from Karen? Dear Jenny, Tom looked like he was in heaven at the weekend. Can you ask him what he knows about Anthony Mack? He was brilliant, and I can't find anything out about him.
Nothing. I missed that one entirely. There's so much going on. I was trying to work out on the Friday what acts I was going to try and see, and I just went, there's 3 or 4 I definitely want to see. The rest of the weekend, I'm just going to see what's there, and if I find something, I'll sit and watch, and that'll be fine. And I stumbled across some absolutely amazing stuff doing that. But I think that's the only way to deal with a festival, like or any festival, because there's so much going on.
Now, the problem we've got now is that many people, more mature people perhaps, who've gone over and who like their creature comforts, will have gone straight down to reception desk and booked again for next year.
Yeah, a lot of people I've spoken to have said they've already booked their accommodation for next year at least. And
so if you like your creature comforts, you can do it in style.
Yeah, well, obviously Sark's got some really nice hotels on the go and some good campsites as well, so you can have, either way.
And what did you do for food?
For food,
I worry about
I ate on the festival site.
What sort of things did you eat?
There was the normal kind of burgers and chips kind of stands, and there was also the other extreme was the lobster and chips stand, which seemed to go down very well. One member of Show of Hands during the set said, "This is the only festival I've been to," and Show of Hands are a big folk act in the UK. It's the only festival I've been to where someone sat in the front row dissecting an arthropod while we're playing.
Isn't that wonderful? The lobster and chips stand.
Yeah. Fresh lobster.
Oh, look at Laura's little face.
And
don't worry, one day, Laura, one day.
And I think the best food came from the Harbour Cafe. You had a table there and we're doing all veggie and vegan stuff, and it was absolutely... I'm not a veggie particularly, but the food they were doing was absolutely amazing. All locally grown stuff, and just, brilliant. It really does... That kind of thing makes it the Sark Festival, if that makes sense, because there's so much local stuff going on, as well as all of us from over here.
Well, we've got the important bit. I've talked about the food. The second most important thing's the music, obviously. What was your favourite of the weekend, your highlight?
There are probably 3 that I can narrow it down to. One is local, which is the John Wesley Stone, who are always a great band, but on Saturday afternoon, the busiest point of the weekend when there's 2,000 people or something on the site. The tent that's got the main stage and it was rammed, and people were up and dancing. About 3:00 in the afternoon, just absolute amazing atmosphere in there. A band called Three Daft Monkeys, who headlined the Saturday night and got the whole tent dancing. It was packed in the tent because it gets cold and windy in the evening.
I've got a vision of a load of druids dancing around. It's not like that at all, is it?
The crowd is so mixed. It's amazing. It goes from, there were 6-month-old babies right through to, as old as people get.
Just really innocent entertainment.
Just really good fun. And there wasn't loads of extra activities for kids to do. There were loads of young kids there who were just up and dancing and everyone seemed to be enjoying it.
Right, we're going next year.
Yeah,
we are going next year.
And the other act I really enjoyed was a girl called Sarah Joy, who was playing on the Saturday night in the freezing cold wind on the outside acoustic stage, and everyone gathered in close to try and get under this sort of half tent thing, and just amazing atmosphere. She was a brilliant guitar player, and she did an a cappella song to finish and got people dancing to an a cappella number, which I don't think I've ever seen happen before. But it was just, well, that doesn't happen. This is brilliant.
No, normally I see you driving along in your car, banging your head to some pretty thrashy music, and we often have musical discussions, and he tries to introduce me to some fairly hardcore bands, and I wouldn't have said folk was necessarily your natural thing, but look at the enthusiasm on your face. It's just a picture.
It's I think it was Mark Le Galley said to me once, there are two sorts of music. There's good music and there's bad music.
Absolutely.
And it's up to you what you think that is, but I can't think of any bad music at the festival this year.
Well, he's come back newly enthused from the Sark Folk Festival, and you can catch Tom on BBC Guernsey or BBC Introducing Guernsey, I should say, on the last Wednesday of each month between 7 and 9, when I suspect you have some new delights to share with us all.
Indeed.
But in the meantime, lovely as always to see you, Tom Girard. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers.